Hey everybody, welcome back. Movie review time, where we geek out about a movie we just saw, and we just saw Nausicaä and the Valley of the Wind.
Yes.
So we are continuing our Ghibliathon, and we are American. We say Ghibli. We don't say Ghibli or Ghibli. You know, if we're wrong, we're wrong, but that's how we do it. But the fine folks at Shout Factory and GKIDS reached out, and they're like, hey, you want to review all these movies and help promote the DVD Blu-ray release of The Wind Rises? And then we'll give you this awesome iTunes bundle that if you were to buy it, you'd save $20 buying the bundle on iTunes, called the Studio Ghibli Collection Volume 2, which includes 6 incredible Ghibli films. Includes The Wind Rises, it includes Porco Rosso, it includes Nausicaä and the Valley of the Wind, it includes Castle in the Sky, it includes The Secret World of Arrietty, and it includes...
You can do it. Come on.
Why are you not helping me?
Return the cat.
The cat returns.
Okay.
Thank you, because I was blanking there. Which is pretty awesome. So you can check all that out. I have links for the stuff in the description below, or links for all the Blu-rays if you want to check those as well. But again, we're not paid, we're not sponsored. They just gave me the 6 movies and said, here, if you don't mind, talk about them and do some social media posting during these couple weeks. That's what we're doing. So we're on the 5th out of 6 films. We only got 1 more to go for our watch through here.
Yep.
But we just rewatched Nausicaä, and this is one of my favorites. It's one of the earliest ones, too. I think it's like 1984, if I did my work right, which I think I did. And it feels like it, but in a good way. And we've seen it before, so we saw it subbed before, at least once.
Yeah.
I recently picked up a Blu-ray because the steelbook was gorgeous, and I was reminded how much I love that movie. So I went ahead and got it. But we did watch the iTunes. We watched it dubbed. All of those digital things do include the sub versions as well, if you want both. And I think the coolest thing about it is the fact that it had Sam Witwicky, or Mutt Jones. It had a Megatron. It had Luke Skywalker. It had Captain Picard. It had Admiral Adama. It had the Bride.
Which one was Megatron?
Frank Welker. I don't... Of course you would ask me that one, because I was like, I saw his name in the credits. I didn't recognize his voice. All the other voices we recognized. It's like, is there like an Odin or something? Or maybe he was the Ood, or what are the bugs called?
Ohmu?
Maybe. It was like a 3-letter thing that started with O. Anyways, I noticed it in the credits. Like, oh, Frank Welker was in there too? So we also have a Megatron. But that's pretty cool. It's one of the coolest crossovers of all time. And you know what? This would be really interesting in live action, this movie. We're going to try to keep it fairly spoiler-free, but...
I just giggle because he's like, this is my favorite of the lot. Occasionally I still have to lean over and go, pick up.
That's because she's convinced me to watch them in the basement where it's 80 degrees and then she's warm.
It's not
and
80.
then I'm drinking wine and then...
I told you could turn on the AC.
Then you'd be freezing and you'd be all like... And I don't want to do that to you. Plus the cats are cute. But no, I mean, actually, but honestly, for the most part, I stayed alert for this one. There was a couple of moments, but some of that is just because it's quiet. The movies get so quiet. And it's like, can we have a little sound design? But anyways, thank you for talking about that on camera, because I'm sure that they love that. And you know,
Because
I'm sure
we'll give you crap.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get more movies sent to us because of that. So thanks. She hasn't seen They Live. I want to show it to her in 4K. Anyway, what did you think about the movie? Because I've done most of the talking at this point.
I know. This is, I think, one of the better ones. But that's because it does have that more sci-fi, futuristic bent to it.
Bit of heavy metal vibe going on.
A little bit.
You know, it kind of reminds me of that a lot.
Because,
Wizards.
Yeah.
Or Wizards, whatever it was.
I think it was Wizards. But now the airship designs and the bug designs and everything else, it's just really well done.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's a pretty decent amount of world building going on.
Yeah, no, I think they do set up a good amount with the 3 different kind of kingdoms, or whatever you would call them.
Yeah.
And I think the action scenes are excellent in this. I think they're some of the best action scenes.
Although I did have the thought of going like, even though I've seen this movie a couple times before, I don't think it ever occurred to me that how much of a Mary Sue Nausicaä is.
Oh, Mary, why don't you just do and say all the things? No, go ahead. I'm just giving you poop. I get to give you some poop on occasion.
I was just going like, okay, this chick apparently knows how to do every single thing under the sun, and
Well, I mean, you know, it's a hero.
Never screws up.
It's a hero. It's you know, sci-fi. It's fiction. It's me. I'm the same thing. Same thing with me in real life. She laughs, but she doesn't know.
Excuse me?
Well, you know, I do everything right. You just don't agree with it. Just because you think it's wrong doesn't mean it is. Oh, there's the look.
Apparently we're in a poop-giving mood.
Yeah, we are. We're giving each other lots of poop today, but it's been fun. We've been doing all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, no, again, I think the style, it really holds up, the colors and everything. Again, it's more of a muted kind of palette and stuff, but again, compared to some of the other Ghibli films, which, by the way, I think this was like not really a Ghibli film initially. Like, wasn't this kind of the thing where maybe it brought the teams together that after this they formed Ghibli? I feel like somebody told me something.
This was directed by Miyazaki. I didn't have a chance to, because I have no idea
Alexa,
where my phone is.
When was Studio Ghibli formed?
Studio Ghibli was founded on June 15, 1985 by Hayao Miyazaki, Toshio Suzuki, Isao Takahata.
So Studio Ghibli, there's another pronunciation. But yeah, no, that sounds like I was correct then. That it sounds like this is one of those deals where it's like they weren't that studio, but this is where like all the team was like, hey, we should form a studio and make more of this. Because if I understand, this was a pretty successful one.
Yeah.
And I can see why. And again, it is a little bit of a longer one. It is 2 hours. I do think there are a spot or two where maybe it drags, but also that could just be the time. You know, it's 1984. Pacing was a little bit slower back then. Lots of great movies in 1984, by the way.
Again, it's I think a difference between American and Japanese sensibilities as well. Because the Japanese are much more into letting some things breathe and going like, okay, because it's that whole part of that whole slice of life thing.
Well, I think people in the 80s, like back in the 80s, that was a thing anyways. I think most films had a more leisurely pace when they wanted to and left room for breathing. It wasn't like the to get into the cliches, it wasn't kind of like the music video culture that we developed somewhere in the 90s where it's like just all meat, you know, no vegetables. Just cut everything out, trim all the fat, just boom, boom, boom. So I don't think that's necessarily in this case. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but in this case, maybe I don't think that's particularly a Japanese American thing because I don't think it felt slice of life really. I think there really was a driving story in this entire thing.
There was a such story, but I'm just saying it takes the time to let you see what's kind of going on to give you a sense of, in some cases, time or just a sense of okay, this is how the world is. Like,
yeah, I guess, but again, I don't feel like that was.
What do you think could have been cut?
No, I'm not saying that anything could have been cut. I don't think they had anything in there that didn't need to be there. I'm just saying some of it, like it could have been snappier. It could have been a little bit more. And again, that's just because of modern sensibilities. This is a movie that's like almost 40 years old. I guess like 35, 36 years old. Yeah. So it's not that I think there was anything in there that was wasteful with the screen time so much as, you know, it's like get to the line a little faster, or even just more sound design. When it's like long shots of desert or landscape and like all you have is just the sound of wind. It's like, can I have some other sound effects or something? You know, just something.
I think that's them like giving you an idea of just how desolate like that desert is.
I can understand that. I'm speaking from just personal tastes and what I like and why I think that at times it feels a little like it's dragging a little bit because it's just so.
See, I never have that
empty
problem.
In that soundscape. Yeah, well,
I don't really even notice it. To be honest.
But you're really mostly just there for the visuals. Everything else for you is like ancillary, kind of. You know, I'm going for the full package. And again, I'm trying to talk about the movies and what I liked and what I didn't, what worked and what didn't work for me. So, but again, I still really like the film. It's still one of my absolute favorite. Probably might be my favorite Miyazaki film. At least if I haven't seen all of his work, I don't believe.
You've seen most of it.
I was gonna say I've probably seen most of it, but it's definitely one that I remember. As soon as the imagery came back and all that stuff, I was like, oh, yeah. Like the giant bugs. You got like kind of Starship Trooper elements in there. You got some Never-Ending Story stuff in there just because of the way I feel like she's flying in the gliders. It just reminds me a little bit of just attitude, not necessarily anything that happened in Never-Ending Story. The music, when you get some music, is really, really good.
I want a fox squirrel.
I think, is that a thing? I was going to ask you, by the way, is that a thing that like is in other Ghibli things too? Because I feel like I've seen that in other stuff. Like even in Ni no Kuni, the game or whatever.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Per se. I think I've seen similar designs because, tiny thing with big ears,
Pikachu.
Kind of, sort of.
He is a little Pikachu. A little bit. I'm saying he's a little bit Pikachu.
Longer legs.
Yeah.
And more like Eevee and Pikachu had a baby.
That's a very apt description. Yes, I will give you that for sure. I like some of the side characters. I like the way the story unfolds. I like the three factions. I like. Oh man! Wow! I talked around it and I forgot what I had somewhere. Shoot.
But I think I kind of like the three old guys because that's sort of a Ghibli trope of having a group of old guys or old women.
Yeah.
Who are going they're like, okay, let's take over a tank. We have no idea how to drive.
But we'll figure it out. Oh, that's what I was going to get to, as the violence. I thought this one's probably a little more violent than most of the films I've seen in a way that I appreciate, because I kind of like violence in my movies at times. Because you actually see some characters getting shot, like, for real. Even in some of, like, just the side characters, there's, like, just some background people just literally getting shot. There's blood going on. There's acid. There's stabbings and bleeding hands and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, I mean, there is violence in some of the other ones, but it's like Porco Rosso it's pretty much all dogfights.
Right, and it's like kind of more cartoony violence, whereas this is a little more... This is definitely of its time. This is definitely something that was probably aimed more towards adults than kids. And then I think maybe kids kind of latched on. They kind of maybe went more that direction in the future compared to the other Ghibli films.
It feels actually pretty YA to me.
Well, yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, I'm talking like as opposed to like a Porco Rosso or The Cat Returns, which can really play to the younger crowd. I don't think this one really plays to the young crowd.
Porco Rosso is one of those that it may play towards the younger crowd, but it's also designed so that there's definitely elements to that only the adults are going to get.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying is with their future films like those, like it does do more of that family film, walk the line of stuff for the kids, stuff for the adults that the kids won't get. This feels more like we're just making this movie. We assume it's going to be that Star Wars audience.
It's sort of in that vein of, like I said, Wizards or
Heavy Metal.
Last Unicorn.
Okay. I don't know that I saw that one. But again, I get that. It's like that. It's that late 70s, early 80s science fiction where they stopped.
It's not. It's a little less heavy metal. It's a lot less risque.
Well, heavy metal is. I think I'm just getting more of the vibe or the designs from and stuff a little bit. But I might also just be confusing that with Wizards. But what I'm getting at is like that late 80s, or that late 70s, early 80s, like because all the old cheesy sci-fi stuff are like, oh, it's just junk for kids, and then Star Wars kind of came along and a few other things as well, and said, no, we're going to take it seriously, and we're going to do darker, heavier stuff and aim it more towards a little more like crowd. The Hobbit. Yeah, even something kind of like that. So I think it plays into that kind of attitude, and I appreciate that about it as well, too. Because, I can get behind a movie that is straight up for kids and still enjoy it, but I'm not going to enjoy it as much as something that's meant more for adults. And I think this one falls more into the more adult category. I think kids can watch it, especially certain types of kids. This would have been something, if I saw in my youth, I probably would have loved. And it would have reshaped my appreciation of like anime and Japanese. Would it make you
less scared of bugs or more scared of bugs?
Well, I don't know that I would use the word scared as much as just grossed out and creeped out, because they are just creepy to me. But I don't know. I guess I would have had more. I don't know. I don't know that I can answer that one, to be honest. Because then I just think all I can think of is Starship Troopers. I don't know. It's going a bug.
Well, I mean, the ohmu do look a bit like the brain bug.
Yeah, I think that's where my brain keeps going there. I would like to have maybe seen some more bug stuff too. There is some diversity in the bugs. We do get some other bug elements and other bug things. They set up a lot. They showed you a lot of bugs, but a lot of it like, oh, that's just a bug that exists. You never really did anything with it. And there's some moments here or there where it's like, oh, it would have been nice to have more done with some of the bugs, just to get more of that buggy action, but.
Yeah, I think there's about 5 or 6 distinct types of bugs, but only about 3 of them really come into play.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. And again, this is a minor nitpick critique. It's not in any way, shape, or form ruining the movie or making it bad. Like I said, I very much enjoyed the movie. I'm just talking about things to talk about it, Yeah.
But no, this is like, I just like the message of going like, hey, just learn how to live with nature. That's all you need to do. Just learn how to live with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate that about it too. That it was definitely a message in that film, but it wasn't heavy-handed. It wasn't like shoving it down your throat. It played into what the story is. It didn't feel forced.
Actually, that was the major plot of the film because.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing, but I mean, it didn't come across like it wasn't preachy, to me.
Because that was just like you had three groups. Two of them were going like, "We need to burn that mother down."
Right. I'm agreeing that is at the forefront, but it's not like, because I've seen films and stuff where even though it's at the forefront, it's very preachy, it's very judgy, it's very, like this is what you're supposed to do. Whereas this movie really presents it more in a story and a character thing.
Okay.
It's kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. We got a weird energy in this review. You're just jealous because Napoleon was giving me all the tum-tum to rub.
Or I didn't sleep last night, one of the two.
Maybe a little both. But yeah, I think that covers it for me. I like I said, it's one of my favorites. I'll watch it again. I bought the Blu-ray.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely because the last one we were watching is Castle in the Sky, which is in some ways it's very similar. That is sort of that set in the future.
There's a lot of similarities, but I think
fantasy, sci-fi-ish.
From memory, Castle in the Sky is a little bit more comedic than this, though. There's not a lot of comedy in Nausicaa, actually.
No.
Pretty light in the comedic fare. Maybe that's also part of what I like about it, even though I like comedy.
The three old guys are about as close as you get to comedic relief.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. Apparently that's your thoughts too, yeah?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, well, there you go. So again, thank you, Studio Shout Factory. Thank you, GKIDS. And if you want to check out the Studio Ghibli Collection Volume 2, grab that iTunes bundle and get all 6 films. You can check out the link in the description below. Or, of course, you can check out some of the Blu-rays and all that stuff as well. And, let us know in the comments. What do you think? Which one of these is your favorite? We got one more movie to go. We'll try to remember to give you a bit of a ranking on our tastes, just for the heck of it. Because, Kim suggested it, but I was already thinking that. But, great minds. You know how that goes. Or dirty minds think alike, I guess. So comment, let us know. Other than that, you can click the thumbs up button. Give us that good old thumb of encouragement, as we do love to be encouraged if you want to. Check out the Patreon. Look up the EricButts. Use links in the description below. It's $1 a month. You get a whole bunch of extra content and just cool stuff over there you can check out. And that's it. All right, we're going to get out of here so we can go watch some more Ghibli stuff, Ghibli stuff, what the hell ever. We're going to go watch some more awesome Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli films. We'll see you all later.